Well, we are about 3 months into fall, but we are still finding warning signs posted for toxic blue-green algae on area lakes like Lake Wiley and Norman. Meteorologist Elisa Raffa joins us now live in the studio to explain why this is happening, Elisa.
Yeah, Brian, it's because our fall was just way too warm. As our climate warms, our summers are getting longer, those falls are getting warmer, and that's fuel for all of this sludgy green, this blue-green algae. Now, this algae is toxic, and it can impact our health in more ways than one.
There's algae there. If we were to take this under a microscope, we'd probably find it was microcystis.
Brandon Jones is the Catawba River keeper.
This has been a wild summer for algal blooms.
And he finds that these blooms are still booming.
It's just been just a perfect storm of conditions.
That perfect storm is warm, stagnant, nutrient-rich water.
We had a long stretch of really warm weather, really kind of warm nights.
Our sizzling summer lingered longer. October was the 5th warmest on record in Charlotte, running 5 degrees above normal.
And then drought. So we didn't have a lot of flushing of the system.
So far this fall, Charlotte has a 3-inch deficit in the bucket.
And so it's unusual for us to still be talking about it this late in the year.
This cyanobacteria can be toxic to humans and pets, but the good news,
You'll know it when you see it.
it's easy to spot.
The water is eerily green. It's unnatural looking. People tell us it looks like there's been some kind of spill of dye.
If you take a walk around Freedom Park, you'll find lots of these signs. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Stormwater Services has them all over the park near the water. They're here to warn you that that blue-green algae is still in bloom. So that means don't drink it, don't swim in it, and make sure the pups stay away.
When they're ingested, they can be associated with liver illnesses. Short-term and long-term, they have been associated with liver cancer.
Haley Ploss is an environmental science PhD student at UNC. She's examining the impact of this blue-green algae in our air. Air bubbles swirl among the algae, and when they pop, they spray.
They can eject the water and then also all the little bacteria or algae that are at the surface of the water into the air.
We know blue-green algae is toxic to the touch.
How likely are people coming in contact with this aerosolized or airborne blue-green algae?
But new research is diving into the respiratory impact from these air bubbles.
Is it carrying toxins in a concentration that we should be concerned about?
We do know nationwide algae blooms are increasing thanks to climate change.
We know that rising temperatures and more people and more nutrients are going to exacerbate the problem.
So we're seeing harmful cyanobacteria, that blue-green algae, grow in places that we haven't seen before because it's previously been too cold.
But there are small things we can do to prevent big blooms. Just picking up after your dog can keep nutrient-rich fuel from getting into our waterways.
Please don't fertilize your lawn right before it rains. Please make sure you're not fertilizing right up against the water. That's really important.
The reason why that's really important is because as we get those heavy downpours, which are also increasing with climate change, you'll have this heavy downpour, it hits the pavement, and it's going to pick up the fertilizer, the dog poo, and it's going to take it into your waterway. This water, by the way, also warming because of climate change. So that's going to just fuel and cook more of that blue-green algae, and that's, again, what we've seen so far this season. Again, it's pretty late still for this to be happening.
Yeah, it sure is, and certainly stay away from it if you do see it. Elisa, thank you for all that explaining of that blue-green algae.